Let's bring in our legal panel now, why don't we? Trial attorneys Richard Roth and Jeffrey Shapiro are with us. Well, it's the tough job of defending BP falls to the man on screen right. And I don't even know where you begin. I mean, all of the evidence that we've seen at least seems to indicate it knew what it was doing, and it did it anyway.
Well, first of all, I would differentiate this case from, the typical case where we've heard about manufacturers have a product that they know is partially defective, and they figure it's cheaper to pay the lawsuits that comes from the defects rather than change the product. But we don't have that situation here because BP was faced with a situation where it's an all-or-nothing situation. So even if they wanted to cut corners, even if they felt they didn't want to do all of the safety protocol that could have possibly been done, it's hard to believe that they were willing to give it all up and let the whole thing literally blow up, lose the entire project, and face the certainty of millions of billions of dollars of damages. Well,
they've added a lot of projects since then. They continue to get leases. They continue to make profits in the billions.
That's good to say in hindsight. That's exactly right, Shep. They made $26 billion in profits in 2011, not revenues, profits. And as far as this rig goes, they call it the well from hell is what they're calling it. The captain of the vessel did not know how to operate emergency procedures. A week beforehand, it was chaotic. An hour beforehand, the two people who are supposed to read the monitors and read how the well is doing misread. So the gross negligence standard, which is a high standard, may very well be met here. There is so much wrongdoing by BP over and over and over and over again. And the alarm system, which I find troubling, the emergency alarm system was disconnected, unplugged, almost as if so that the employees could sleep at night. Almost as if you're at home and you take your smoke detector down. That to me is gross negligence. We're talking here about crude oil, which we know the results of which happened here.
And then after it happened and the oil was flowing out, there's evidence now to suggest they knew how much was flowing out and lied about it.
Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about...
I don't know if it's Jody Arias, but it's up there.
Well, let's talk about really what this trial is about. The trial's not
about negligence or gross negligence.
Well, exactly. So here's the definition of gross negligence: conscious and voluntary disregard of the need to use reasonable care which is likely to cause grave injury. So that means that they consciously and voluntarily disregarded the need to use reasonable care so that their rig would blow up and that this entire thing would happen.
Not so that it would.
Well, by the way, it wasn't just BP. I mean, this isn't four guys on the corner who go decide to do something. This is BP, Halliburton, Transocean, all of these groups together who are all component parts of this. It's hard to believe that if any one of the other people in this mix saw something that was so grossly negligent that they didn't have some responsibility or wouldn't have stepped forward and said, hey, we've got to do something to repair it.
In the NCAA, they might call it a lack of institutional control.
Here's the problem. The problem is that if you have two people whose job is to read the monitors and understand what's coming out of the computers, and they misread it an hour before it blows up, and there's a massive blow up, and you have a captain who's hired who's not explained how the emergency procedures work on the rig, it's more than negligence. And I could go on and on and on. The safety procedures were just not followed. They weren't adhered to. Some were 2 years old they never looked at. Some were new they never looked at. It is unbelievable. This well from hell resulted in, unfortunately, the most massive disaster in the Gulf.
Out of time. Any chance this thing's going to go all the way through this trial?
My belief is it'll settle. This case is going to go on for probably a year.
Biggest trial like this ever not to settle that I can remember. Do they settle or do they go through it?
Absolutely settle. I think they're close to settling right now.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. Wonder what they'll pay this time.
A lot.
There'll be more later, too. Thank you both.
Thank you.